Boom, 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 boom. Ba ba da ba doo, ba da ba da boom. Breathe. 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 Breathe in. Feel your breath inside of you. Breathe. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning. We had a good time last night. Oh, you missed the Dharma gathering. Okay, enough of the gong. You missed the Dharma gathering, Tuesday Dharma gathering, every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. We were live. Last night. We had a good time. We're talking about mindfulness, and I wish I would have had this article, this clip by Eckhart Tolle, who totally and utterly dismisses alcoholism as just a matter of not being aware. And you're just not awake. You're not present, and that's why you drank to the point of falling off the chair. See, if you had presence, then you could sip. You could be a teetotaler. You could have one drink, one beer, and not want to kill yourself. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think even through the worst episodes of addiction and alcoholism, at some point the body, if presence, as Eckhart Tolle points out in the video that we'll watch, once presence becomes the predominant state, then the desire to abuse oneself with substances goes away, because you're connecting to the present moment where all things are pleasurable. The problem with the alcoholic or the drug addict is that the person will sober up for a day or two and say, wow, do I feel better? Or a week, oh man, I'm feeling good, and I'm present, and let's go have a beer. Let's drink, right? After almost killing oneself. So there is the ultimate glitch there, Mr. Tolle, is to what people must define what awake and what presence is. Without experiencing it, then you don't know what it is. You're just assuming that, oh, I'm not drunk, therefore I'm present. No, it's not that. It goes deeper than that. It's a sense of seeing thinking evolve and not following it. Right? Thoughts pop up, boom, 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 but you're present, and you're not lost in the emotion of the thinking, the story of the hero, right? The hero who's the great I am, who's going to conquer everything and plan everything, and everything's going to be brilliant, and they're the center of the focus. This great I am story that you follow and you run with, and it becomes your everything, and you're not even aware that you're sitting on the chair anymore. You're not even present. You're not present. That's the thing one must learn, often the hard way, on the cushion, although it seems unpleasant in the beginning. You break through. So we'll look at that Eckhart Tolle clip. Josephine says the most successful treatment for alcoholism costs nothing. Quote, AA. Yeah, I agree. I'm not dismissing AA at all. I think AA is the place you go when you're very close to the fire. You go, and it's a place to empty out the garbage pail. The garbage, you're full of, the garbage is full right over, it's above your fucking eyeballs. And you don't know what to do with it. And AA will offer you an opportunity to have that garbage go away, and most of it comes right out of your mouth. You just babble, and you babble for days and weeks and months. And eventually the babbling stops or years. And AA is a wonderful place. But then we're not talking about. I think there's a difference between what is abuse and what is someone who drinks a glass of wine, right, or two, or even in the age of decriminalization of marijuana, where it appears marijuana does appear to have, real healing properties and the ability to assist one in staying present, if used correctly. So I don't see that. I mean, people would argue that with a glass, with a beer or something. Oh, I feel present. But I think the evidence is in that. But anyway, we'll talk about it. But I agree. You're right, Josephine, that the most successful treatment for alcoholism is AA. There's no doubt about that. That is indisputable, statistically, experientially. I don't think anybody disputes that. But Eckhart Tolle has an interesting spin on it. So we'll look at that. Also, World War III, the war within. That's our own mindfulness and trying to not overthink. Definitely join us, by the way, Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. The great Dharma gathering is starting to really pick up and take off. And people are meditating. People are sitting on the cushion and meditating for 10 minutes a day. The 90-day meditation challenge is happening. And you can start whenever you get there. Your 90 days start from the time you sit down and do it for the first time, every day for 90 days. 10 minutes a day. If you don't know what you're doing, just join us on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. and you'll know exactly what to do. We watch guru videos. We open up the chat for a discussion. It's really good. It's long overdue. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time. It's long overdue, and it's long needed, I think. So, Mikkel Sly, I definitely have an addictive personality, so I try regulation. If that doesn't work, just abstain. Right? Yeah, I mean, addictive personality. I'm certainly guilty of that. I grew tobacco in my yard and then became a daily tobacco smoker, right? Which I could tell you, man. I haven't smoked my own tobacco in about a month. But I could tell you that it does creep in there. Because I was smoking mostly to test different parts of the plants. And then you start to like it. You're like, I fucking smoking. I got my own pipes, so it doesn't cost anything. And you get carried away until you can't breathe. Until till you wake up in the morning and you're like, I can hear my breath. This is not good. Something went astray there, and then you stop. If you're present and you're mindful, you can. Oh yeah, this might be a little uncomfortable, but it's not enough to derail you into. A 30-year, emphysema and cancer. It's like, 30 days ago, I was smoking tobacco, and right now, total abstinence, no smoking at all, just to clear up a little bit. I can't tell you what it feels like. I can't tell you what the heavy feeling feels like anymore, because it's not there. Now, would I venture to want to smoke a little bit every day, a little tobacco every day? Not really. I didn't really find tobacco to be that pleasurable, really. Not like weed or a beer, where there's a tangible effect. Nicotine is very, very subtle. And it's a shitty drug in that it requires a reinforcement, only after like 15 minutes or so. So it's way, in my humble opinion, it's way too much smoke on the lungs to qualify as anything pleasurable. But that was my experience, after smoking. And it was natural tobacco. There wasn't any of the the real feel goods that R.J. Reynolds throws into Marlboro to make it more addictive. But thank you, everybody, for joining me. We'll look at World War III. World War III is raging. The Chinese, they're sending in balloons. They want to kill us. They want to spy on us. The Russians are flying fucking, planes over Alaska. You heard? Alaska it's getting infiltrated by Russia, it turns out. But in my view, two bullshit, total fucking stupid stories. Remember, Russia is next to Alaska at the top up there, all the way up by the North Pole. Russia extends from Europe all the way to the tip of Alaska, and they're flying some planes up there. Everybody's all tied in a frenzy that Russia's, positioning themselves to invade the United States. China's sending over fucking air balloons and spying. Relax, everybody. Stop with the propaganda, really. And the war hysteria. China is not your enemy, man, and neither is Russia. Stop blowing up Russia's shit. In the Baltic Sea, blowing up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, right? Sending weapons to Ukraine to kill Russians, sending weapons to Syria. And if they don't turn the weapons on Russia, then you get sanctioned. America, cut it out. We're causing this shit, right? Stop fueling fucking NATO all over Europe. So anyway. What else we got here? So, it's my thumbnail today. This is the great Eckhart Tolle, who I have enormous, amazing, powerful respect for. Arguably an enlightened human being. He wouldn't be able to, in my opinion, he wouldn't have the type of clarity, the type of awareness that comes out of his mouth and his behavior if he wasn't experiencing it. I don't think that would be, I don't think he could fake something like that. I think that he is truly experiencing something, and I think he may not give the full details of how it happened for him. Eckhart Tolle claims that he never, really studied Buddhism or mindfulness meditation, but that's not true. He studied quite extensively with Buddhists and monks and sat for months. He just didn't find it to be very rewarding until he left it. And then he looked back on it and said, oh, and then the light went off. Right? It happened after the fact, but don't say that you didn't sit. It just, you were struck by presence one day, because I don't think that is, well, maybe it's possible, but I don't think that's the equivalent of the sober person in AA who is sober for an hour and says, "Oh yeah, I'm enlightened. I feel it." Or a week later, "Oh man, wow, this is amazing. I know a new freedom and a new happiness, man. This is fantastic. Let's go to the bar and celebrate." So anyway, there's a bit of. It's an interesting story Eckhart Tolle has, but his experience as he professes it is very, very similar to, monks that have sat for years or lay people who also have sat for years or even hours and experience a sense of presence. So he's definitely experiencing something. My name is Marcus Conte. I got a website, and it's a good website, too. We're live every morning at 9 a.m. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me on this YouTube channel. Marcus in the middle, that's where we are now. We're no longer in the morning. We're in the middle. See, that's where I thrive to be, because guess what, man? It's almost 2024, and there's going to be an election. And if you're not on the left or the right, you're fucked. They're going to shut you down. They got these new AI chat, whatever the fuck it is. I had all this AI, right, that could write a story for you. It's all incredibly biased. It's incredibly biased with a leftist-leaning, I'm right and you're wrong attitude. It's infiltrated with that. Oh, no, you can't write about that because what you're writing about is sexist and homophobic and dangerous to the country and bad. For example, the Hunter Biden laptop story. We'll look at that one too. New York Post has done a great exposure on that. So I have a website, and here it is. And I also have a wonderful story called The Enlightened Father that I wrote. You might enjoy it. Give it a read. It's 5 minutes. And let me know what you think. Also, a brand new way to fund this program is Zelle, Zelle. Thank you all for who have already donated to this program, because hey, listen, man, as the guy Ford, the guy who made Ford Motors said, if you're not generating money in what you do, it's just a hobby, right? And this is what I do, right? This is what I do. I'm a guy who comes out and I talk. I'm a pontificator. I'm a philosopher, modern day philosopher, kind of like Socrates. But you have to contribute, right? Yeah, that's or eventually it'll go away. I won't be here. So this is a good way to do it, especially if you're going to take the 90-day meditation challenge. I encourage you to donate at least $1. You go to your bank account, you turn on Zelle, and then you have my email address, which is also connected to Zelle, and you can just send anywhere from $1 to $1 million to my bank account. Now, if you're strapped and you want to take the challenge, throw $1 in the basket. Come on, man. Even AA, right? You go to AA and you don't put $1 in the basket. People give you a funny look, man. Right, Josephine? You go to AA and you don't put $1 in the basket. What happens, man? Keep coming back. Yeah, but keep coming back with $1, motherfucker. That's not true. But you know what I'm saying. So, but if you're a really rich guy, right? If you're sitting and watching this program, right? If you're watching this program, and you got a couple of $1 million in the bank, right? You should definitely throw a couple of coins this reporter's way, and I will become your bitch, right? For lack of a better term. I'm exaggerating, but you should give and give to make a change, but we do this not to benefit me, but to benefit you, because if you're giving something anywhere from $1 to $1 million, you're making a pledge, a commitment to yourself to actually sit for 90 days. And I assure you, if you do it, if you sit for 10 minutes a day for 90 days, you will have a profound experience. That's all I say. I don't have to show you anything. I show you, come on Tuesday night, and you'll see, you'll learn how to do it, and then you'll see it for yourself. And then you can donate $1 million after the fact. So anyway. So let's start here. Let's start here with the utterly ridiculous in our society, right? Wisconsin woman accused of decapitating lover, man, attacks lawyer in courtroom. Let's watch. Give me the motherfucking bitch, motherfucker! I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Stop it, bitch! I'm gonna kick your fucking cop's balls, man.
Rachel, call.
Where's my shoe? My shoe. So this is in a courtroom in Wisconsin.
You went crazy on your attorney.
So she asks what happened. Right? The criminal who cut off her boyfriend's head and penis and stuffed it in a pressure cooker for her mother to eat is asking what happened. What happened? It's fascinating, right?
Billy, can you walk?
At this point, I'm going to put a motion in the withdrawal from this matter.
So the lawyer quits. The girl gets fucking dragged off the court. Crazy, right? What are they shooting her up with? And she looks like, I don't think she's shot up with anything, really. She's walking pretty well to be Thorazined out. But just another episode in America. And if you think that's bad, the attack on the English language, the attack on the English language, you can't say male, female, mother or father. No. See, those are sexist, white supremacist terms from American colonialism. And when you say mother or father, you're referencing that the people that owned slaves and beat the shit out of angry blacks. So you can't make it up. So look at this. Science needs to stop using terms like male, female, mother, father. Researchers say. Researchers, what are they researching? Alternatives to terms like male and female and mother and father should be sought in science because they assume that sex is binary and heterosexual is the norm, a group of researchers from the U.S. and Canada suggests. Right? Well, I think it isn't the norm. Male and female should instead be referred to as sperm-producing and egg-producing people. So you're no longer a mother or father. Where's the egg donor? Where's the egg producer? Did you produce the egg? Well, who's the could the egg producer send in the egg producer and the sperm producer, please? Are you the sperm and egg producer of this thing? Could we call it a child? Is a child also non-binary, binary stupidity as well? You can't even call a child a child. So all right, so let's go one step further. We'll just say the man is the sperm producer and the father. No more dad. No more. No. Meanwhile, father and mother should be labeled parent, egg donor, and sperm donor. What a crock of shit. What a crock of shit. It's an assault on the English language, you know. That's really what it is. The group, what is the group? The group, the name is the Ecology and Evolutionary Biology Language Project. Yeah. They're looking to change the English language. The group has called on science field to use words that are more inclusive and precise. Much of Western science, here we go. Here's the racist slur, right? It's always going to be the white guy's fault. Much of Western science is rooted in colonialism with white supremacy and patriarchy. And these power structures continue to permeate our scientific community. So there you go. Right? It's about clap, man. It's about coining this notion of male, female, mother, father. Anybody who uses those words, according to this ridiculous, stupid ecology and evolution journal in England, right? According to these morons, that makes you, if you use these words, if you say mother, father, mother, I love you, daddy, daddy, daddy. If you use those words, you are rooted in colonialism and white supremacy and patriarchy. What is patriarchy? Patriarchy is the man first. Is that the, what does it mean? Patriarchy is a system of government with father and male. It's a male culture, right. In Britain, where they've had a female queen for a fucking real female queen for 80 years. So there you go. Liberal left assaulting the English language to no end. Mother, father off the table. Christmas off the table. No. We got to find more friendly words that don't offend the lunatics that write this crap. This is interesting. The guy I talked about yesterday, Wang Sol, the gentleman who ran over a bunch of people in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, with a U-Haul truck, claims that he was dodging invisible objects. a lot of psychosis in America. I almost believe, I don't think he's some pathological, guy who, they're arguing that he was trying to set himself up for suicide by cop. But was he seeing flying objects? I don't know, man. The crazed U-Haul driver who ran down at least 8 people during a more than 1 hour frenzy in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, was charged with murder. He's 62 years old, Wing Sewell, was suffering a mental health crisis, told cops he was set off by an invisible object coming toward his truck when he allegedly unleashed a Monday morning spree. So the guy is fucking crazy as batshit, right? What do we do about this, You gotta wonder. He doesn't. He's dressed well. What is this anyway? I don't want to watch an ad. So he's dressed well, and we got a little bit. Oh, here he comes. He comes out the door. Let's watch his walk. See if he's stumbling. If he's. Sometimes you learn a little bit. He's dressed in army fatigues. He's got boots on, leather jacket. Wait, he said something. Hold on a second. Let's see what he's saying.
Why'd you do it, Wang?
Why'd you do it, Wang?
Why did you do it?
Wang, what'd you do?
Wang, why did you do it?
What happened, sir?
Wang,
What
why
happened?
did you do it?
What happened, sir?
You want to say anything, Wang? Why did you do it? Are you sorry, Wang? Are you sorry?
I think he's yelling in Chinese. I think that was Chinese.
Sir,
You want to say anything, Wang? Why did you do it?
what happened, sir? What happened?
I don't know. I think it's inaudible what he's saying. It's probably in Chinese. I'll get somebody in Chinese to take a look at it. But anyway, he's saying that there were flying objects and crazy. It's crazy. We got a mental health crisis in this country. So Chat CPT, you heard about this? It's all over the news. Chat CPT is a new tool that people are using to do things like write papers, write articles, all kinds of stuff, right? It's a tool, right, that can do a report for you. I want to report on Hunter Biden's laptop, right? So the popular new artificial intelligence service, ChatGPT, refused, according to the New York Post, refused to write a story about Hunter Biden in the style of the New York Post, but gladly spit out a CNN-like puff piece protective of the president's embattled son. So everybody getting all worked up about ChatGPT being able to do all kinds of fancy things. It's biased. It has a left-leaning bias, right? Evidence is in the chat is saying, when asked to write a piece on Hunter Biden's laptop, the chat CPT responds, quote, "I cannot generate content that is designed to be inflammatory or biased." Well, what's inflammatory and biased about a truthful story about a president's son and a president's brother involved in serious, unequivocal quid pro quo in the region of Ukraine and Russia and taking money from Chinese oligarchs? The son is a crackhead and embezzlement, right? Favors, quid pro quo is bad. Right. What's inflammatory and biased about a truthful piece that we know is truthful? So be weary. Be weary. This chat CPT is not a savior. It's going to give you a leftist opinion. Who's programming it? Who's programming it? You got young kids that think that everywhere in between New York and California is full of racist white supremacists who hate you and hate everybody, and they gunslinging Trump motherfuckers, right? They want to kill you, man. They want to eat your babies. And all this other confusion, right? They're colonists, and they want to use mother and father terms, which I find highly insulting. Right? This is what Chat CPT is. So what else? Stupid, right? So World War III. Right? You ready? We're gonna have a war. And what's wrong with war anyway? War is good for good for business, right? War is good for business, says the people promoting the Chinese balloon story. It was no mistake, says the New York Post. Chinese balloons hinting to an attack. Yeah, right. Right. The fucking Chinese, the sneaky Chinese are going to fly big-ass, plane-sized, slow-moving, visible balloons over the United States. And that's the sign of an attack. Are you fucking stupid? Are you kidding me? It's very likely, I think, when you dig a little deeper, which we're not allowed to do. I haven't seen credible information, just even one layer lower. Who made these things? Is it the Chinese government, or is it just some Chinese company that just makes balloons for the fuck of it, right? Gathers whatever information they can and then tries to sell it. Right? It's opportunism, man. It's not war. Right? And if you haven't realized that, the United States is the biggest spy operation on the planet. We spy on everybody and everything, man. There isn't a stone unturned that the Americans haven't unturned. Right? So anyway, there's a lot of hoof and puff about these Chinese balloons. Biden is claiming a big attack, a big win, blowing one up on February 4. Hey, it's a nothing burger. Also, U.S. diverts 4 Russian warplanes flying near Alaska. Right? These planes. This is a breaking story. U.S. diverted 4 Russian aircraft flying near Alaska Monday in what government officials called a routine interception. They weren't crossing. They were in international airspace doing their little maneuvers that planes like to do. So another nothing burger. Here's the 4 detected Russian aircraft included an Su-35 fighter jet. And there's the fighter jet. And we have those too, We have those too. But the jets weren't near. They didn't cross in. Now, this would have been different than a balloon. So a Chinese balloon floats into, U.S. airspace. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But an Su-35 fighter jet flies over Alaska, Russian fighter jet. Now, that's a little more interesting. But that's not what happened. But if you read the headline, you might kind of come to that conclusion. 4 Russian warplanes flying near Alaska. What the fuck, man? Dumb people that don't know Russia is right next to Alaska. It's all connected at the top, up by Antarctica. Anyway, just another dumb story. Yeah. Let's talk about this story. This is. I wish I would have played this last night. It's a very interesting, in my view, earth-shaking revelation that Eckhart Tolle is going to spew out. Now, you remember, AA is a very well-attended, well-oiled machine. Millions and millions of people have had their lives saved via AA, showing up and participating in the dialogue of, I am an alcoholic and I am bad and I will die if I drink, right? And this goes on for a period of time until you get enough distance away from it to realize that you're goddamn human. And I think that's what Eckhart Tolle is pointing out. What he's basically saying in summary, and we'll watch all of it, you make up your own mind, is he's saying that once presence, as I've said on this program many times, and in my videos on meditation, once presence becomes the predominant state, in other words, you're not walking around nonstop thinking all the time, right? Once you get a break in that and you say, oh man, I'm generating all this negativity in my head, and I stay present, right? When you achieve that and you're present, at that point, alcoholism becomes, or the abuse of substance becomes, you become untouchable. It can't really penetrate. In a nutshell, is what he's saying. So let's listen to the good Eckhart Tolle. Millions and millions of people follow this guy. Let's watch.
I'm going to become an alcoholic, then I'll go into AA, and then I'll experience spiritual awakening. The ancient Romans believed in vino veritas. What do you believe about the effects of drink, and why do different people react in different ways?
Good question. Good question.
In vino veritas, they said. In wine there is truth, I think it means.
In wine there is truth. Is there?
I suppose it means when people get drunk, they start telling the truth. Well, I have partly answered this question already. The effects of alcohol once you are...
Say it. Spit it out.
disidentified from the mind, awakened, I won't say, but not even necessarily totally, permanently awakened, but relatively awakened, you will be able to drink alcohol if you want to. It will not affect your state of mind, and the desire to overindulge will most probably not be there.
100%. 100. I agree 100%. Right? So you're in AA for years and years, and you lick the drink problem, you beat it, and you stop blaming your mother and your father and the guy next door, and you one day realize that you are the source of all your fucking problem, right? You are creating the problem, right? Once you realize that and you become present, once you throw out the garbage in AA, you can then, it does fly in the face of AA's idea that it's disease, incurable, irreversible disease. They use an analogy of a pickle. The pickle a cucumber becomes a pickle. Once pickled, can never become a cucumber again. Right? That's not what we're finding out here. So Eckhart Tolle is now on the record saying that once presence becomes the predominant state, that the drink for the drinker is no longer, the abusive drinker is no longer a problem. That's what he's saying.
From my own experience, I enjoy more recently than before a glass of wine with dinner, and sometimes even two, but almost never more than two, and usually just one.
So that's his own statement of experience. His experience is, I have a beer or two, or one glass of wine, two, never more than one, mostly one. So that's not abuse, is it? Is one glass of wine a day abuse? I don't know.
That's all, and that is a pleasure. If it's more than that, it's no longer a pleasure. It feels...
Jim Steele says he is an alcoholic. Oh. If he's an alcoholic, then how does he get away? If he's an alcoholic, if Eckhart Tolle is an alcoholic, how does he get away with having one wine and leaving it? Do you think he's lying? Is Eckhart Tolle lying? Is this guy a big fat liar? I don't know. I've seen a lot of videos by him. I've seen a lot of his writing. It seems to be quite spot on. People follow him around. He seems to be who he says he is. He seems to be experiencing. See, there's a danger in saying that you're experiencing enlightened mind, right? When you say that, you paint a giant target on your back. You're fucking not enlightened. You're fucking stupid, man. You're enlightened, man. You're a jerk off, man. You're fucking in denial, man. That's what people will say. But he's definitely, the record seems to indicate that he is experiencing something of an enlightened nature.
Wrong. The body doesn't want it. The body even rejects it. And there's not the slightest desire to have more than that. For those people who are awakening, alcohol can be a hindrance, especially overindulgence in alcohol.
So again, I just want to go back to the fundamental flaw in this talk is that you have to. No one. Look, someone that is learning meditation for the first time doesn't understand completely what presence is. They meditate, they sit, and they feel a sense of dis-ease, discomfort with what's happening. What the fuck? I feel a sense of groundlessness. I don't feel better. I feel worse. Right? Initially, right? And they're not experiencing presence yet. They're not. You get a glimpse of it. There's a crack in the wall. You see it, and there's a moment of relaxation and bliss almost. Right? But without experiencing, without the experience of presence and mindfulness, none of this can make sense. Right? That's the problem. Right? Once experienced, then you look at this and say, yeah, of course, he's absolutely correct.
As presence arises and you drink, you quickly lose the presence again, and it can activate and reactivate a lot of the unconsciousness in you, even pain bodies in some people. In some people, more men than women, getting drunk, overindulging in alcohol activates their pain body. So some men become violent when they drink, and they become even more unconscious than they are in their normal state.
Well, we already know that about alcoholism, but you're saying that Eckhart Tolle, correct us if I'm wrong, but you're saying that even that person in that hopeless case can someday have a beer without any desire to have another. That is what he's saying.
Much more unconscious. But even if that's not the case with you, if presence is arising in you and you get even, let's say, you overindulge once a week in alcohol, that can represent a significant setback in the arising consciousness. So you have to be very careful there, and if you know yourself and you know that you cannot stop yourself once you've had one or two drinks, then it would be better not to drink at all.
There lies the problem with alcoholism. The person that is drinking doesn't know that. They don't know that. They drink it and say, oh, yeah, that felt pretty good. And before you know it, they're laying on the floor with an empty case of beer. So it's a very tricky thing that he's saying. I think I think there's validity to what he's saying, really. I do think that his initial comments on presence, when one is experiencing presence, they become kind of bulletproof to that thing, that loss of control, that loss of awareness. Like, I don't know where I am. It's like it's being lost in the dream world. It's lost thinking. Right? If you could sit on a cushion for an hour and not think, it's very likely that a beer is not going to affect you in a significant detrimental way at all.
Once presence becomes your normal state, you don't need to be concerned anymore about drink. You may or may not have drink occasionally. And even if you were drunk, awareness would then still be there. Once you are established in presence,
Correct.
the awareness would still be there. I know
A good study would be Chongyam Trungpa Rinpoche, who literally drank himself to death. I don't think that's disputed at this point. He had cirrhosis. He kept drinking. He was sniffing massive amounts of cocaine and drinking and professing Buddhism from the stage. And even the nurses that were taking care of him in his final days said that he had a profound sense of awareness about what was happening, and that they couldn't explain. But again, it wasn't enough to stop him from killing himself, literally.
that if I drank a whole bottle of wine, some people do that. Some people drink a whole bottle of wine every day. Not that I could ever do that. If I drank a whole bottle of wine, I would probably collapse. But until I collapsed, the awareness would be totally there. The
Conspiratorials in the chat say Eckhart Tolle is blinking too much. That makes him a liar. Look at him, man. Look at his eyes. He's got rapid eye movement. He's a fucking liar.
Ram Dass, the famous story, had a guru in India, and Ram Dass, of course, was into LSD, heavily into LSD, and he gave his guru, what do they call it? Hits, pills, whatever.
Tabs.
He gave his guru
Couple of tabs.
2 or 3. Normally you take 1. He gave him 3 or something like that, and the guru says, "Oh, I'll have another." Gave him 4, and let's give me another. Give him 5, and the guru put them in his mouth, and then Ram Dass sat there waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened.
That's not really quite the story. I've heard that. I've heard versions of this story, right? Where the Maharaji took a bunch of hits. There's also a claim that George Harrison gave one of these crackers a bunch of hits of acid, and they were like, "I don't know, it didn't really do it for me, man."
The guru sat there for a few hours, and Ram Dass was disappointed, and were also very impressed. On the one hand, disappointed because nothing happened, but very impressed because nothing happened. Wow. He took all that, and I believe that the guru did see or experience strange things, but he didn't show it externally because it did not affect his awareness. So
that sounds about right. That sounds about right. The guy has been spending his whole life in mindfulness. Some little chemical is not gonna derail him at all.
Awareness, his witnessing awareness, was always there. So he didn't act on anything that he, perhaps visions or whatever he saw. The awareness remained undiminished, and in the meantime, he experienced strange things, heightened sense perceptions, visions, whatever. It makes no difference. When the awareness is there, it makes little difference whether you see an actual person or whether you have a vision. It's just things that appear in the space of awareness. So
he's talking about a very high level, a high state of awareness. Right? It's not just matter of fact. I sit for 10 minutes and I feel a little better, and then an hour later I don't know what the hell. I don't even remember it. It's crossing over to where the sitting experience becomes very similar to the everyday experience. Try to understand that. When you sit and you experience clarity or bliss or whatever you want to call it, or elevated, fucking something, right? There's some kind of clarity occurring, right? That is it's indistinguishable from the daily activity that you experience because you're still present. You're still actively engaging the in and out breath. You're still present. You're still alive. You're still in your own skin. You're not lost in dream world at all. There's moments you might click away, but without that, he's saying that in that state, all right, which makes an argument that mindfulness is the way to go. Once achieved enlightenment, I call that enlightenment. If someone is in a permanent state of presence, then that is the enlightened state, right? To varying degrees. Once there, then a beer is not going to hurt you.
The guru knew that, and the guru it was the awareness, and so it didn't matter what he saw. It was just another spectacle to him. Nobody said that, but I know that's what he experienced. I took it once. So that's all. Awareness was not touched by that. No, probably if he had taken 10 or something, I don't know what, he might have collapsed. But
Josephine says this is very poor advice. Hear him out till the end. He gives other advice on alcoholism. Right? He's gonna flip at the end. Watch.
Even then, awareness is there. So that's the. Sometimes people are surprised when they see that I occasionally have a glass of wine and say, "You drink alcohol?" Well, if my state of consciousness is so fragile that I can't even have a glass of wine, then what's the use of awakening?
He finds that funny. It's not funny to people that end up on this. They end up in jail. There's guys that wake up, or women that wake up in a jail cell, and a cop has to tell them. The person says, "Where am I? And what happened?" And the cop says, "Oh, well, you ran over two people and killed them, and you killed your husband and your daughter. Everybody is dead, and you're facing murder charges for driving under the influence." Right? It's very. I mean, those are true stories that happen every day. Almost every day.
But if you have an addictive pull towards alcohol and presence is arising in you and you're pulled towards awakening, then it is very important to refrain completely. If that is one of the main areas that makes you unconscious in life.
So he caveats the whole thing by saying, he flips at the end here by saying that the alcoholic who can't stop drinking shouldn't drink at all. But it's a little bit of contradiction. I think what he points out in the beginning is very accurate, though. It's very accurate over time, because this notion of perpetual recovery, which you see in the world, you see in communities. I'm in recovery. How long are you in? Oh, I got 16 years. I got 28 years. I got 4 years. I'm in recovery. When do you ever get there? Ask somebody. Have you gotten there yet? Where? To where are you going? Right? You're on the road to recovery, the path of recovery. When do you get there? Right? Have you gotten there yet? Ask somebody that. I'm in recovery. When do you get there? I don't know. We never get there. I never get there. I'm always on the road. That's a hell of a road to be on. A road to be on where there is you don't get anywhere. Right? Why be on a path and a road if it doesn't lead you anywhere? If it only leads you to more misery and perpetual suffering. Right? It's a good question to ask.
The addiction to alcohol. And you cannot continue to have occasional drinks, because as you know, when you have that addiction, an occasional drink is always more than an occasional drink. Because the moment you have the first drink, already awareness diminishes. You have the second drink, it diminishes even more. Or the third drink, it's gone completely. So if that is your problem, then it is of absolute importance never to touch it.
I think what he misses is that sometimes for the alcoholic, the euphoria of the substance is greater than the state of presence. The euphoria that comes from presence. If you're not experiencing an uplift from the meditation, from presence over a period of time where you know, no one has to tell it to you. You can feel the difference. You feel a sense of balance, and I don't know what I'm trying to say.
State. Otherwise, you'll be going up. You're going up the escalator. And then it takes you down again. It's like, no, I think this analogy doesn't work, but you would continuously fall back. So this is what I mean. You continuously fall. You make a little bit of progress. You go to a retreat. You come to a talk. You practice in daily life. Wonderful. A few days later, you go to a bar. Okay, I'm just going to have one drink. Just one, because it makes me feel I deserve a treat. I've had a rough day. Okay, just one more. Oh, it feels so good. Third one can't do any harm, can it? Okay, I'm losing it already, so I might as well. This is the last time that I'll do it. Again and again and again, and the next day you wake up totally in your mind, body feels sick, totally in your mind, and you have to start all over again. So don't do it.
Okay. That's pretty much the
quite a few people.
That's pretty much the description of the alcoholic. He just described the alcoholic, but is he? I don't know. I'm not really sure if he's saying, can even in that desperate state, does that desperate state change? That would be the fundamental argument. The big mystery is, can the persistent alcoholic drink safely someday? AA will tell you no. Right? I don't know. I disagree with that. I mean,
over the years have come to me and have come to talks and
I kind of agree more with what Eckhart Tolle is saying.
Retreats, who, if they had not been alcoholics, would not be undergoing spiritual awakening.
That's true.
Quite a few people have come through AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. They do a lot of good work. They've come for the first time. They got in touch with the spiritual dimension through AA. And so if they had not been alcoholics, and of course AA encourages you to admit to yourself and to others, I am an alcoholic. And as long as you don't believe that that is the reality of who you truly are, it is a useful recognition, temporary recognition. Because it's always good to face the reality.
That's the exact opposite of what AA will teach, that, you just say you're an alcoholic just for temporary relief, and then because you don't really believe it. That's what he just said. So anyway, it's interesting to listen to an enlightened guy try to tackle the problem of alcoholism
instead of deny the reality. So once you face the reality, as they do in AA, and then several people have said to me, if I hadn't been an alcoholic, I wouldn't be here now. But I suggest a more direct way rather than the long way around. Please don't think, okay, I'm going to become an alcoholic, then I'll go into AA, and then I'll experience spiritual awakening.
So anyway, if you remember what Thich Nhat Hanh says, is that happiness and enlightenment and spiritual lift comes through suffering. It's the foundation of happiness is suffering, right? He called it the garbage, the mud. So there's some truth to what he's saying. But anyway, that was a good read. Let's see the markets. Oh my God, it's open. It's open. Ding, ding. We're a full 30 minutes into the session, and it looks like the Nasdaq is red. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 169. Nasdaq down 48. S&P 500 down 20. And what else? What we got here? On the big board, Apple up 59 cents. Amazon down 81 cents. The mighty Google down 15 cents. Facebook, formerly now Meta, formerly Facebook, down $3.24. Microsoft down $2.32. A bit of a red day for technology. Stocks fall as strong retail data affirms hawkish Fed expectation. I don't know about that. I think that's frivolous. The Fed is going to continue to reduce and or keep interest rates right where they are, maybe a quarter of a point. They're not going to jack it back up, you know. They're not going to jack it back up to 75 basis points. They'll keep it at, raising at 25 until it hits like 5% or something. So that number doesn't scare me. What else? Rivian up 32 cents to $19.81. Tesla steel at $288. $208. War stocks, the stocks that bring you war. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, both down this morning. The holiest of holy vaccines, the stocks that keep you 6 feet away from everybody and safe and boosted to the max. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, all down this morning, all in the red. Not a good day to be a needle pusher. So thank you all for joining me. Mark Scott reporting. 5%. Yeah, man. So that was fun, right? That was pretty good, man. I enjoyed the Eckhart Tolle thing. I'm going to consider it a little more. And, I have some insight into that, personal insight of being strung out in the early 90s, when heroin was new, I guess, or at least new for me. And, it takes you for a ride. And then and the cocaine, very powerful, substances. And you spend many years running away from things like that. And, it would take nothing, short of a gun to my head to ever, get me to want to try heroin and cocaine again. I have no desire, zero, to ever want to lift that stone again. But I have, I have had a beer here and there. I, do, puff here and there, and it's not derailing. It's, in my view, uplifting. So I do have a personal experience with that if one works for a sense of mindfulness, a sense of stability, equanimity, that you can, in fact, engage in these types of things. You're not permanently disabled. So that is my personal experience. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Mark Scott. See you guys tomorrow. Personal mover. Boom, bada, boom, 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 boom. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Thank you all for joining me, even if we disagree. Thank you for being here. Don't hurt yourself. And more importantly, don't listen to anybody. Listen to your own goddamn internal stuff, man. Don't buy into anybody else's bullshit, man. Be your own man or woman. Be your own. Casa Philly Camden says, do we do the serenity prayer? Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.